Candidate Brown.
Thank you. When we were heading into last winter, we had a major spike in the numbers of unhoused people in our state. And we were headed toward a situation where people were going to freeze to death. And so some of you may know, but Senator Cynthia Mendes and I slept outside the State House in tents for 16 nights. We were joined by hundreds of Rhode Islanders to protest Governor McKee's inaction on this issue. Finally, the state created 400 shelter beds for the winter. But Governor McKee had no plan for what to do after the winter. And now the contracts for those emergency shelters have been coming to an end, and we again have hundreds of people living on the street. That's a policy choice. It's the policy of Governor McKee's administration that some of our people sleep outside. The advocates from RYHACH have been pleading with you, Governor McKee, for weeks to authorize 500 emergency shelter beds. They have protested outside your office, and you have ignored them. So I've got a little bit of time left in my closing remarks, and I'm going to leave it to you to answer one yes or no question, very simple. Will you commit right now to creating 500 emergency non-congregate shelter beds so that our people don't sleep outside?
May I respond? May I respond?
If you want to respond, yes. Oh, yes. Otherwise, you don't have
I'm the governor to put $5 million on the table 3 weeks before the camp out in front of the State House. 3 weeks before that. In the budget, $250 million for housing. We're going to leverage that to $1 billion worth of housing. I have made the commitment, and I've partnered in with the Rhode Island Foundation.
Yes or no?
I'm sorry.
No, I didn't ask you the question, I will. And thank you for asking the question. Because what you're saying, misinformation all over the place here. Take a look at the record. So, we have a budget. Tell the General Assembly to approve it. We will leverage $1 billion of housing in all the areas, and I've made a commitment, and I keep my commitments, that we will build out shelter as the first step for the coldest day of the year. Why in God's name do I show up as governor and a governor never stepped into that area before? I stepped in, put $5 million in, took people off the street. There was no plan. We're going to have a plan. And what we need is the General Assembly to pass the budget that I put in, and then we will tackle this housing issue for sure.
I'll just say this.
I'm sorry.
We got $1 billion a year ago, including in emergency relief funds, including for things
I'm sorry,
like
Matt Brown,
on the street. And we have hundreds of people still on the street today. There is no excuse at all.
I'm sorry,
Who was at the Red Relief Clinics?
I'm sorry, candidates. Hello.
Who was at the Red Relief Clinics?
I'm sorry, candidates.
Who was at the Red Relief Clinics?
Dr. Munoz, I'm really sorry. I know these topics. I know these topics are really expansive, but I know we might not get all the answers we need today, but we really.
When they don't answer the question.
The question wasn't even answered.
I'm sorry, no comments from we're almost done, and I know that there's going to be a lot of questions, and I hope that this is a start of a conversation, a start of a journey with these candidates to really learn what they want.
Hey, if I can answer your question, I'll stay after and I'll answer your question. All right?
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's just get through this together. I know. Listen. Before we get the last closing, as a person who grew up in deep poverty and undocumented, I know that these issues are crucial and touch at your heart when we see people suffering. I appreciate all the candidates being here, even if they don't give the answers we want right now, even if they have more discussion to do. It's going to be to all of us to hold them accountable and to learn about what their policies are. So thank you. I know this is hard.
The problem is you always run.
I'm sorry. We're going to continue.